Hey everyone, it's Brandy, and you are watching Abstract Crafter. Today's video is a post review on this 2-pack known as Zoo by Unime on Amazon. So this was also part of Project Amazon, and this was the 4th store in round 1. So, if you want to hear my thoughts, see how they turned out, all of that fun stuff, then just keep on watching, and we will get right into that as soon as we roll those intro credits. Hello, friends. So, you decided you wanted to see what the post review was all about for the 2-pack from Unime that they have called Zoo so cleverly. I just call it animal quotes. I think I literally named them elephant quote and lion quote. What a unique title. So much thought went into that one. So, of all of the paintings I got from round 1 of Project Amazon, this 2-pack I do believe was my favorite. I don't know that it started out being my favorite, but it definitely, well, I mean, I still have 2 more paintings left to do from that, but overall, these 2 paintings ended up being in part of my, top 10 diamond paintings I've completed ever. And most of those are diamond dots. And one of those is also from this round in Project Amazon. So it was a really good round. This is probably one of the most cohesive multi-packs that I've gotten. There's only one that was actually more cohesive, and it was meant to be a set, whereas I don't necessarily think that this one was meant to be a set, but they went together well enough. And I don't know, I just think they did such a good job. Like, the shading around each of the animals looks amazing, and I talk about that. I filmed a clip for each one individually to talk about the leftovers and the garbage and all of that stuff. But as a whole, I wanted to talk about some things. So the beads were different companies, I do believe. Just because I could tell a big difference between these ones and these ones as far as quality goes. Overall, the quality was there for both of them, so I can't really say much on that. There's very little garbage from either of them, and you'll see that in their individual clips. But I love the way, they have super good sparkle, and a lot of that has to do with being rounds, and rounds being more glittery. You'll see more sparkle on this one because this one has darker colors than this one. A couple of major differences, I think, is that they did a better job on the background of this one than they did with this one. They're trying to do a technique, and I'll see if I can show it to you in here. No, that's too small of a picture, but in the side-by-side, you'll see it's like a technique of texturing the wall, where you're using like a putty stick and you're having different layers, and it's very much so textured. In the actual pictures, that's what the backgrounds of these look like, and there's a little piece of hair right there that's driving me nuts. I can't get it off. And that's it. They tried with this one by adding the 2 different colors of yellow. I don't think it transferred as well as it did here. They used so many different colors to achieve it. Whereas I think they could have done that a little bit more on this one, just with a couple of different colors of the yellow. But I ain't mad at it, so I still think it looks good. I still really like it. And then, and the other major difference I see is in the words. You can see that they did a little bit better job here of making them like the L's look straight, whereas on this one you can see that it's got a little ledge and it comes down, so it's just a little different. Same with like this D here. You can see that this one looks a little bit more round, and whereas this one doesn't. But then the M on this one looks more rounded, and the U, I think, was a little too thick. So there's just little things that I think could be changed, but that in no way changes my mind about these ones being some of the best diamond paintings I've completed to date. And that's saying a lot. I've done a lot. And I know I remind you of that fact all the time, but there's just little things in these that make them stand out. Like the cheeks on the elephant, and you can see it a little bit on the lion. It's a different color, but you can still see he's got little rosy cheeks. Just like this, the way that they chose to outline it, instead of it being a harsh line, it's made up of a bunch of different colors that go along with it. And specifically this one, the shading around his face, I mean, it looks so realistic. Well, cartoony realistic, you know what I mean. It looks more like an actual picture would versus a picture converted to a diamond painting. It was like these pictures were picked out specifically because they would be translated well into diamond paintings. And I just especially love, like, this quote is never forget that you are loved. And it's got hearts all over the background. Have courage, follow your dreams. And it's got little paw prints, like you're following something, you know? So it just the little subtle details, or the fact of his little tail sticking out. I just think that that was just brilliant. I mean, it was unnecessary. They didn't need it, but it added a ton. Or the fact of the whiskers. Like, you can't really see it when you're working on it up close. A lot of the details are lost when you're working up close. And just as an example, I'll bring you up. Like, the eyes, they don't really look, they just look like diamonds being placed. Or in the paws, you can't really see a distinction until you're actually looking. And I'm not that far from it, you know, I'm just a short distance from it. And the details pop out almost immediately. So yeah, I have so many good things to say about this, but why don't we start with going into the individual clips that I shot. Let's start with the elephant because I did the elephant first. So I'm going to insert that clip here, and then I'll add the side by side of this one to the original, and you'll see that there's hardly any difference. I mean, I cannot say enough how impressed I am. So let's put that in right here. I haven't cleaned this one yet because I actually ran out of wipes. So maybe I'll do that while we talk. Let me grab one and then we'll get into this. I have so many good things to say about this. And so while I am incredibly happy with the actual finished result, there's a couple things that I wasn't so happy with. But it's hard to even say that when the overall finished product is as nice as it is. I know that these beads were really dirty because I had to change out my pen filling quite a bit. Yeah, it was almost like using the pink wax. Just some of the colors were very dirty. And again, you can tell that by looking at your pen and seeing that, especially like me, I use a white poster tack and an orange one. And when those both turn brown, you know you got dirty drills. I did see quite a bit of dirt come off of that. The partner to this, I didn't have as many issues. It does have a few more colors than this one. Not many. I think it's got like 4 more colors than this one. I think it had 27 or 28. And this has got 23 colors. Most of which, honestly, are in the elephant itself. Like, looking at this thumbnail, it looks very gray. And I'll insert pictures, of course, and do side-by-sides and all that fun stuff. But it kind of looks like it was a painting in which they used like a scraper to get 2-dimension. And you'll see that again in the side-by-side of the variation. So the elephant up close, I'm just seeing like, and we'll actually bring you closer. Oh, that sparkle. Oh my gosh. That's so pretty. So you can see just this hodgepodge of colors. And believe it or not, that light brown color that you're seeing there, there's more of that than you will even begin to know. Okay, we gotta let the cat out because, of course, I'm in the middle of filming and she wants out. Let's get back. Okay. So, and I'm gonna show you this when we talk about the colors. So I might be wrong on the exact number of the colors, but there are so many different browns in here. At least we get to see the sparkle as I bring the painting up to you again. But you can see the hodgepodge of colors, and like I was saying before the cat so rudely interrupted my thought process, this color in here, there are so many shades of it. And then you can see there, that is one thing that I really just don't like, is the actual, what I call, quote-unquote, dummy circles are so thick that you can start to see them kind of peek out under certain ones. Like, this is another one where the beads were pretty, like, inconsistent in size. Like, these yellow ones here were pretty uniform, but then you just move over to the red ones, and they're smaller, and you can see there that if you're not right on in the center of the symbol itself, you're going to get that thick white line on the outside. Moving it with my fingernail like this isn't going to do anything. I need to actually move it with a drill pen, but I'm not super concerned. I mean, from looking way back, you can't see it as well. Like, even on these light yellow ones are outlined in black, and you can kind of see that. But the other thing I really like about this is, like, so here we have the outline of the elephant, and it doesn't look like much when you're working up close. In fact, you can just see just a bunch of different colors. But then moving it away, it just gives this really unique and beautiful outline to the actual elephant, and all the way through. And its partner, the lion, is the exact same way in the way that they shaded him. The only thing that's a little, like, not as crisp is right here on his legs. In the original picture, there's pretty dark lines right there. You can kind of see it. It's very light. But I just think that the colors themselves, wherever they got these beads from, they just weren't distinct enough. And they didn't show enough of a difference. But, like, over here, you're getting a ton of, like, greens. And, yes, those really are olivey greens. And it's really weird. And some of these are kind of like a red-brown. Some of them are mauve. But then even down in here, you're getting a big mixture of the, like, browny mauve greens that kind of look gray in comparison to the rest of them. But they're actually green. They're like a army green. Something. Look at all that sparkle. Oh my gosh. That's why I wipe these things down with wipes. Because it gets all the dirt off, and it just helps make that sparkle stand out even more. Anyway, but then, like, when you're working on it, I'm sorry, I gotta bend it. I didn't think those eyes and the eyebrows right there is what you're kind of seeing there would show up all that well, but then when you're back here, they show up just fine. One of my other favorite features is the cheeks, just that subtle difference of color, and it just made his little cheeks look so cute. Like, he looks like he's blushing. But, I mean, other than that, that's just a few things I'm finding to pick on it, because none of it really matters when it comes down to it, because I love this painting so much. The other thing that I kind of would have fixed, and I still might go in and fix, is that the words just, to me, didn't translate very well. Like, you can see how jagged some of the letters are, and I just don't like that. Like, especially like when you can get the D to look pretty round, and this E, and then you come to the V and it looks just kind of jagged. I think some of it could have been done a little bit better. Same with this L here. Or, like, they could have taken one line of this U out. And there's just little spots in the words that could have been done a little bit better. Same with, like, this T looks so much different than this T. And then even compared to this other T. So there's just a few things where I feel like it could have been done a little bit better. And really all it would have taken is going in after they rendered it into a picture and just kind of doing a few adjustments by hand. I do know that there are companies that will do that, like Diamond Art Club for one. I do believe that Evermoment is another one that will do that. But, you know, it just depends on, I guess, their policies and time, all that stuff. So other than that, everything was super easy to read. I didn't really have any trouble with any of the symbols except two of them, in which I did mention that I did have a lot of trouble with, actually. And it might even be enough to knock off points when it comes to the poster view, like scoring. And I can't obviously show you on the canvas, but I can show you here in the chart. Okay, so number 2 is this weird looking M. And just ignore my nails. It's nail polish. My nail broke, the poor guy, and so there's just spots of nail polish that look like dirt. They're not, I promise. Okay. So you can see here in this symbol, oops, and as I bump the camera, this 420, this really weird upside down M. And it's not even really an M. I don't know. It kind of looks like an alien spaceship or something. I don't know what it looks like. It's just a weird looking M. But then, where did it go? Okay. So this M, number 2, 420, and then number 23 is an up arrow, 3863. On the actual canvas, it was incredibly hard to distinguish the two of them. The only thing that I really could look at, because they did look so similar, is the background on this one, if it'll let me show you, is gray. And the background on this one is more brown. But in this one, on the actual canvas, it was like the sides were missing, you know, the outsides. So there's the, come on, focus, the 3 lines. Well, the only one that would show up is that middle line. So there was that, and there wasn't enough of each one, though, to make that much of a difference. But it was really annoying. So I did have a crap ton left over. Like, they just did not pay any attention to how much they were giving me. So for this yellow in the background, I got like 3 tubes of this. Or at the very least, I got 2 big tubes like this. And maybe enough. It was enough to fill these 2 initially. And then I had a full one unopened. I had another one the same size, almost completely full. So there might have been just another small bag that came with it. But I barely used, I doubt I used more than 50 from this initial bag. I did end up having to open it. I tried not to, but I went down to the very last bead I had, and I did end up having to open it. But you can see I have a ton left over, and these hold a lot as it is. So I think one of these bags can fill 3 of these small Thnk containers. So, and I do believe there's like 1,000 in these bags. I think. I'm almost positive that there is. There could be more. There could be less. I'm not sure. But there were just, every color had a ton left over, which was nice. The main color was this, let's see if I can find it right off the bat. It was not that one. It was one of the very similar looking light brown colors. It was probably one of, it was not 2. Wait, maybe it was E, wherever my E is. Because I remember thinking right off the bat that, so number 6, that I thought, wow, it's just strange how green this elephant's going to be. I thought he was supposed to be gray. So this was the first color I used, and you can see here that there's just a ton left over. And anybody who knows DMC knows that 647 is like a sea green-esque color. And this was the first color I used, and there's just tons left over. But the thing I want to show you, but you can see how similar a lot of these colors are. And there's another one, but I'll be curious to see how different they actually end up being. So we get 1, 2, 6, 7 different, very similar brown shades, all in the elephant. And then there's the green colors, too. And then, yeah, even the outline, a lot of these colors are super similar. And I probably actually could have saved 3 as part of this group. But these are all, like, super similar. So it kind of seemed like a little bit of a waste. I talked a little bit about this in the drill with me I did on this one. But then even, like, 801 and then 839 looks so similar on the canvas, even in the containers, that there was very little distinction between them. And you get the same thing in the greens. You know, like maybe in the containers they look different, but on the canvas it's very hard to differentiate between them all. And it's not really even something I noticed right away until I started putting them down on the canvas. So there was very little to separate them from each other. The whole point of that is there is only one or two, well, there's two colors that had a lot of garbage. Otherwise, I barely found any garbage in any of them, and the majority of it was just those like little extra plastic bits that you find when you're going through a painting. We don't need to look at that. This was all the garbage that I got out of there, which might seem like a lot, but it was more from one color, which is kind of obvious when you're looking in here. But otherwise, it was those little plastic bits, like the extra plastic. And most of it was just, they were really big holes, as you can see. Enough to be annoying. And then, of course, the yellow, the background color, the main color, it was just mostly like leftover plastic bits. So not too terrible to work with at all. I mean, obviously there's some other colors in there, but nothing really too bad. So overall, I mean, this was, it just turned out so cute. I'm not even a big elephant person, and yet I absolutely love this one. So I'm gonna have fun editing out points in what was supposed to be a 10-minute clip. Is now right over 20 minutes, so yay me for just not knowing when to shut up. So yeah, so that's the down low on this individual canvas. I will let you get back to the main bulk of the video where we're talking about the whole kit. Okay, so I'm gonna do the lion one next before we go into the scoring, and let's put that in here. So let's talk about the Cowardly Lion. Not really. That's just what it makes me think of because of the quote on this one. So, look at him sparkle. It's because he's got these dark colors right here in his mane. But, oh yeah. This was my favorite out of the two. But it was also quite different from the elephant. And we'll talk more about that when we get into the actual comparisons and stuff. We're just focusing on the lion. So this one was, I just want to jump into this first because this is what I have for leftovers. This one had 27 colors. The elephant had 23. And it was just weird how many leftovers you'd get from color to color. Like this first one, number 1 on the top here, you can see. I almost, as soon as I poured them into my tray, I didn't think I was going to have enough. But it ended up working out. But you can see some of these colors have, well, we'll talk about this one in a minute. That's the same color, and it probably would fill up one container. But so like this one had 2 of these portioned out containers, but yet I still have almost a full one. And it was the same with, well, this D. That one were the main 2 colors in the background. And the thing with this D is I have almost, let's see, a full container. If you can see that, they're all stuck together. And I could have separated them, but I thought if I need to, I will. Because I still had this many extra. But I thought it was pretty interesting how many were actually stuck together. And they don't easily come apart. Typically, I can just take my tweezers and just squeeze them and they'll pop apart, but they did not want to let go of each other. So, I know it's a little different for me to jump right into leftovers, but it was, I mean, for the most part, it was pretty uniform, except for any of them that had more than one bag. So, like these ones, you can see there's a pretty equal amount in all of them. Whereas, like, when you're getting over here, you're getting more. And one of my big complaints about the elephant was that the colors were super similar. You didn't have that in here. There was only a couple colors that were very similar, but you could see enough difference in them to know that they were different. But this is all I had for garbage, which is pretty good in the grand scheme of garbage. So that just, and again, the reason I talk about garbage, in case people wonder why, is it speaks to the quality of the beads overall. And so that it's really good when you only have that much. And it was about the same across the board. So then this one I thought I just love the way that the mane, it looks furry. Like, and that's, to me, not easy to depict in a diamond painting. You know, you're talking about a picture that's being converted into pixels in which diamonds are then placed on top. And so the fact that they got his mane to look as furry as they did, it just impresses me to no end. I think that this was just really nicely done. And as much as I know I'm kind of talking back and forth with the lion and the elephant, but the elephant, the words, the way that they were written on there kind of irked me a little bit, whereas in this one, it looks like it should, like it looks like a little kid wrote it, which is kind of what I think the goal was, and it doesn't look as, I don't know, it just looks a lot more correct, but it didn't. Okay, so I just want to, we'll get into a close-up here, as you can see that it, up close, you know, it's kind of blurry, you can't really make out the images, but the further and further you get away, the more they stand out. So overall, this background, though, I just love how they made that look, I don't even know the right word for it. It looks really good. It looks, in comparison to the picture, you know, and of course I'll put in some side-by-sides in the video somewhere. So anyway, yeah, I think that the colors on this were done very well. There's enough separation of the colors, enough distinction between the colors that I think it turned out well. Alright, so why don't we cut back to the main part of the video so we can actually talk about these two side by side. So yeah, I know it's just easier for me to talk about them on an individual basis than, you know, to talk about them right as I finish them rather than waiting, because I would have already forgot a lot of the stuff on this one. Now there is one little thing that's been bugging me about this one that I didn't mention is, and you can't even see it on camera, so once it's framed you won't be able to see it, but where it was folded, so right here and right here, it's very obvious, and you can even see it on the back of the canvas. You can see that it was folded here and here. And it does show in parts of this diamond painting where, you know, I could easily just fold it again. I'm not going to because I don't want to make it deeper, but... So that's the only thing that really bugs me about that one, whereas this one was folded the long way. And so I don't really see any of that coming out. I did iron these. I lightly ironed them. I didn't do a lot of ironing. And it seemed to work until I actually started working on it. But like I said, this is the only one that I really noticed it a lot on. A little bit of info from the original, from the unboxing. When we did this, I bought this specific 2-pack for $13.99, which made them $6.99 a piece. $6.99, $7 a piece. Very much so worth it. I would gladly pay $7 for each one of these again. I would probably actually pay... I'd probably pay the full price, the $13.99 for each one separately. You know, if they were just a one diamond painting versus a 2-pack. I am that impressed with it. They did show a picture of the chart of the elephant, the actual blank diamond painting. So I knew that they were going to be pretty good quality, but you don't really know until you actually get the diamonds down. You know, the canvas can look as clear as day, but it's not really going to tell you anything until you actually get the diamonds down, and this is such a good example of that, because I knew it would look good, but I had no clue it would look this good. When we measured it, it did measure out, let's see, it was a 40 by 40, so I'm trying to see if that actually measured up right, because I have 13.5 by 13.5, but I didn't actually write down what that is. Let's just grab... And I do apologize if I seem like I'm all over the place. Like I said, I filmed this in multiple clips. So, I'm trying to remember what I've already said. Okay, so the actual size is 34 centimeters by 34 centimeters. The 40 centimeters is for the full canvas. And it does look like it got a 9 out of 10. I do not remember why. You'd have to go watch the unboxing if you want to know the exact reason for the missing point. I'm guessing it had something to do with the way it was shipped to me and that it was folded and that I knew I would have to iron it. I'm guessing that's why. So I am doing scoring differently. I'm not going through it point by point with you on camera. So like this, previously I would go through it and talk about each one and assign the point for it on camera. I'm not going to do that. I am going to do it, but I'm just going to do it off camera and then come back and talk to you about it. And that's to accommodate, you know, people that like it and the people that don't. So that was like the fairest way I could think of doing it. So you'll have to let me know what you think of that, the new way I'm doing the scoring and stuff. So I'm going to pause. I'm going to go through it and see what the post review score is, and then we'll go from there. The unboxing, again, it got a 9 out of 10, which is very good, especially for a 2-pack. Since I score them, they were sold as a 2-pack, so I scored them on a 2-pack as a 2-pack. So that's really good. You know, it's just a lot to take into consideration, because if there's something wrong with this one, it could affect this one, even if there's nothing wrong with this one. So a 9 out of 10 is really good. And for the post review scoring, it was the same. I ended up at a 9 out of 10. It did lose a half a point for the canvas condition, because it is still very deeply wrinkled on this one, and I did have to iron it, but it came out pretty easily, so I didn't take all the points away. And then the symbol clarity on this one was hard to read, and I'm sure I put the wrong beads on the wrong ones just because they were super hard to read. So I did take a half a point off for that. So that's where it lost that full point, and to bring it to a 9 out of 10. But I mean, really, honestly, I do recommend. I would buy from them again. In fact, I plan on buying from them again. They have so many pictures that I really liked a lot. And in fact, they had a couple that were in my wish list, but they weren't, and they were above that price point that I was looking for. So I think that's why I ended up going with these ones. Plus, these were so cute, and I hadn't seen these ones before. So yes, I say, yeah, go check them out. I mean, it's easier when you have a 2-pack, you know, instead of just, because you have 2 canvases you can base this off of instead of just one. But yeah, I would definitely, I plan on buying from them again, so I would recommend buying from them myself. And again, these are part of my, like, no, they're in my top 10. And that's saying a lot, you know, out of, I'd say 70-ish, maybe 60 diamond paintings. These are better than 50 of them. So probably more like 55, but maybe someday I'll have to just do an ultimate top 10 of my diamond paintings, just to lay it all out there for you. But that, I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. Again, I'm sorry I was kind of all over the place. I should know better than to film clips like that and then not watch them before I record the other clips. Very happy, very excited. And with that, I will let you go. Have an awesome day. Have fun diamond painting. Have fun crafting. Have fun doing whatever it is that makes you happy. I love you, friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.